Good day everyone, Ryan here with Plague Scythe Studios, and I am super excited to be bringing you an update regarding my custom 8-string build. I made a part 1 video of this a couple weeks back, so if you're interested in knowing the whole story behind this, I would recommend you watch that first. We also go over some of the guitar hardware and where I was at in the process at that point. But long story short, I've been putting together and buying piece parts of this guitar for the past 6 months or so, and was finally at the point where I was like, okay, I'm about ready to build this thing, and I need some builders, I need some luthiers and custom shop recommendations. At that point, I'd reached out to a few, but hadn't gotten many very encouraging responses as far as build times or how many compromises I would have to take on my build in general. So I was kind of at a little bit of a rut in the process, but I'm super happy to say that that video was a bigger success than I ever could have imagined in terms of user input. So thank you so much for everyone that took the time to do their own research or recommend me builders and luthiers that you thought would be good for the job, because I reached out to a vast majority of those that you guys left in the comment section, and many of them I was very impressed with the work they did. One of them in particular I got a lot of constructive feedback on, even though I'm not using them as a luthier. I'll certainly shout them out in a moment, but first of all, just a huge thank you to everyone that did comment and take my inquiries very seriously. It's very much appreciated. Between then and now, a few significant milestones have occurred. So first of all, my design has been finalized. We went back and forth and made a couple of small corrections and changes and stuff that would just make the build stronger and a little more balanced and symmetrical, and that is done. So I'm excited to share that with you. Second of all, obviously I've chosen a luthier, so someone is building this guitar as we speak, and they're going to be perfect for the job. They bring so much passion to this project and making it their own, and their past work speaks for itself. So I have the utmost confidence in this individual to do the work. And then I've shipped my parts, so it's just cleared customs, which is good. It's not in their hands as I make this video, but I wanted to record this and get as much edited as I could, because some build photos and videos are going to start rolling in here very soon. And as soon as I get a few of those, I will finish this video and put it up. But I wanted to go ahead and make this as a preliminary shout out to the people that have helped me, and of course this builder. Before I announce who actually got the job, I want to give a huge shout out to Simo of Kiras Instruments in Finland. Holy crap, is that guy talented. I love the look of his guitars. Honestly, if I could afford to have like 2 or 3 made right now, he'd probably be making another one, because it's just, I love his style. Super interesting with the battle scars. It looks like an ancient weapon. He made a bunch of recommendations that at the same time my current builder also made the same recommendations, and added a couple other things, and we talked back and forth. So he was a big help in finalizing the design in terms of construction and contours and all that kind of stuff. So huge thanks, big help from him, and appreciate his work, and hopefully I can have one of his art pieces at some point in my life, because he definitely makes some really cool stuff. With that said, this guitar project was awarded to, drumroll please. Fuck that. You know what? Blast beat, please. Sorry about that. NOF Customs of Quezon City, Philippines. This is a small custom shop headed by one Onofre Garcia, and holy shit, can this guy build guitars. He sent me some pictures from this last NAMM show, and he had some exhibition builds, and they were just incredible. His 7-string neck through was one of the most unique looking extended range guitars I've ever seen, between the material selection, just the one-off construction of it. It makes him perfect for this build in my mind. And what really is cool about this operation is it's pretty much just him. And he's got the blessing of builders like Jeff Kiesel, the head designer from BC Rich. He knows his stuff, all right? So, and I prefer to do that. I prefer to give someone who's small scale, who does this as a passion, more so than just handing it to another multi-million-dollar company and letting them, not to say that they wouldn't do a great job as well, but it's really cool to have someone that takes your own vision and project and makes it their own and adds their own passion to it. And that's really one of the things that came down to selecting him. Obviously, if he couldn't build guitars, I wouldn't have done it, but again, his work speaks for himself, and he has some killer material selection. So I'm going with some tops, a fretboard, some materials that I would have never thought in a million years that I could afford to use on this build. but a lot of the stuff he actually had given to him, or he had leftover stock, so a lot of that's not going to be coming out of my pocket, which is super cool, and I'm very thankful for him taking, you know, this opportunity to just you know, go crazy with it and do stuff that normally he wouldn't be able to do. According to him, a lot of his clientele in the Philippines is actually like pop recording artists, so he doesn't get to go balls to the walls crazy like I'm going now, and that's the reason he was really excited to take this on. So some of the materials that he's providing for me on this build I'll go over. Some of this is definitely subject to change. We've not actually made the stuff as of recording this video, but it is happening very soon, so it'll be finalized, and I'm pretty confident in my selection because I think they look beautiful. So initially, I was just going to do a straight neck through with wings, kind of like I have on my Agile, except no top, because I thought, yeah, I'd like to see the laminate all the way through. It looks pretty cool. And then I saw what kind of materials he had available, and I was like, oh, hell no. I've already got a, you know, I got a neck through bass, neck through guitar that you can see on the back. Let's do something a little different. And he suggested doing his kind of layered technique. So not only do you have a top on a neck through with wings, you have a back as well. And the way he carves it, you could get to see this like sandwich layering, and on the heel of the neck, it just looks phenomenal. And especially if you know, carve out the contours on the back, you just get this really cool fossilized looking like rock is what it reminds me of, like you see at the Grand Canyon or something. It floored me when I saw it, so we're definitely going with that construction. For the top, we're going to do a Buckeye, which is just a ridiculous wood top. Something you see on like a lot of Scrivason guitars, and when I saw he had that available as symmetrical as it was, it's like, yeah, we're going with that. The knots will be filled in with some type of black resin, so it won't show up. So that's good. For the principal parts of the neck, we're going to do a combination of maple, walnut in the center, and some African wood that I can't name off the top of my head, but it has really good construction properties. For the wings, we're using African Debetu, which is one of those woods that I would never be able to even suggest anywhere else. We just kind of had it, and it's a bit lighter, significantly lighter than stuff like mahogany, and has a pretty cool grain structure. I've seen it on like acoustic and bass guitar, so said, yeah, what the hell, let's try it out. And the back will be a flamed ash, so it's like something that would look just as good on the top, but I wanted something that would just a little bit of contrast, that was a little bit more plain, I guess, but it'll still look really cool once you carve out there on the neck joint and whatnot. So super looking forward to how that's going to turn out. We are looking at a finish of like a, if I had to go like natural is over here and so black you can't see any of the wood grain, I would say like a 50 to 60% charcoal stain, not strain. And I definitely want to preserve the look of the Buckeye and be able to see the laminates in the neck through whatever, but I don't want it so light that it, you know, it's still a wood color type of thing. So it's going to be a fine balance, and I have a feeling we're going to be talking a lot on how heavy we'll stain it, but either way, I think it's going to turn out killer. And again, I'm just so impressed with not only the material selection we have available, but the quality he's been able to make out of it in the past. At this point, most of you are probably screaming at your screen saying, shut up, show me what it looks like, because I'm not even sure what the design is yet. So without further ado, here it is. I call it the Stag King. I initially had a different name for it, but apparently Dan Electro beat me to that name a good 50 years ago or so, so couldn't do that one, but I ended up liking this name a little bit better anyway. So this is like, it's original, but it's so rip-offy of other shapes that I have absolutely no interest in coining it as like my guitar shape, you know what I mean? It has the overall lines and I guess roundness of a Paul Reed Smith. It's got like the cutout like a Strandberg would have. It's got kind of even a Strandberg or a Steinberger type dip on the bottom. It even kind of looks like a frame of Stormbender from some angles, which all of these guitars are ones that I really like. So it's no surprise that a lot of those things made it in. And because of that, I just have no interest in saying this is an original guitar design, because in my mind it's really not. But I wanted something that was going to be ergonomic, that everything has a function, it makes sense, something that's well balanced. I'm not so much concerned about the weight of this guitar. I know it's going to be a little on the heavier side, even for an 8-string, but I would rather it just not neck dive and have a lot of weight on the body. That much I can put up with. Neck diving 8-strings are like my worst nightmare. So I have a feeling that horn that goes over the 12th fret or near it will help very much so. Other than that, I think it's just going to be a super ergonomic guitar. Be able to play in any position comfortably, got plenty of upper fret access, and it's not a super strat. That's the main thing. Has a lot of the ergonomic features of a super strat, but I figure, you know, I'm just a random dude in his bedroom that can, you know, make a design like this. Why the hell can't multi-million-dollar guitar companies come up with something a little better than the traditional horns? You know, cheap guitars I get, but God, I mean, that's one of my pet peeves. With that said, our agreement currently is that this is my original guitar design, even though, like I said, I have no interest in protecting that or anything. And I told the builder, hey, if you want to use this in the future, or a customer says, I want his guitar, but in a 7-string or whatever modification, he has every right to use it, as long as I get to keep it. You know, I can take it anywhere. So it's kind of a gentleman's agreement, where he's saying, yeah, I'll give you a couple $100 every time I use it as kind of a licensing fee. And, you know, and I get to say I can take it anywhere and it's my design. On that same token, this, as far as I'm concerned, is an open source design. If you want to use it, if you want to, you know, change some of the contours or the dimensions or whatever, I'm not going to stop you. Like, I don't care. The only thing I would ask is send me a picture when you're done. I'd love to see it. And that's pretty much it. I don't really think anyone owes me anything for it. Fender kind of lost that case back in 2009 trying to say, oh, the Stratocaster and Telecaster is ours, even though we waited 60 years to pursue that. So guitar shapes are kind of impossible to protect anyway. But if there's aspects of it you want to use, that's my, I guess, contribution to the extended range community, using something else besides stupid super strats over and over. So there's that. If you like it, let me know, and I'd love to see my design become, you know, be made a couple spots elsewhere. Hopefully by the time this video goes up, Onofre will have received the parts and been able to double check all the dimensions. We had the scale length set. We just got to make sure the string spacing is correct based on the dimensions I have of the bridge, and the nuts width is good, and everything else should be pretty much ready to rock. And I'm super thrilled that this is going to be a lot quicker than I'd hoped initially. So like I said last time, I got a quote of anywhere from 12 to 18 months. And if everything goes halfway according to plan, I'll have this guitar in my hands and playable in the next 3 to 4 months, like by the end of August. That's crazy to me. I've waited for like production guitar pedals to ship, and in this time I can build a whole custom guitar. And that's super awesome. Obviously, it's another huge advantage over some of these bigger manufacturers that have a backlog, because I really didn't want to wait 1.5 years, and, you know, being able to wait less than like a quarter of that time is definitely agreeable. I don't have final cost numbers. I'll be happy to share those when all is said and done, as long as Onofre's also cool with that, because frankly, I'd like to give him more business. And yeah, I think this is just going to be a huge success by the end of it. And I think by the next update video, we'll have some actual construction underway. I know he has a small, like a YouTube channel and Instagram and that kind of thing, that he'll also be uploading some progress pictures and that sort of thing. I'll grab him, make a montage video and all that kind of stuff, and send you his way in the meantime. So yeah, I'm so happy at how far we've already gotten. At this point, I wouldn't, you know, I didn't even think I'd have a builder selected right now, but I've already got parts shipped and stuff is happening, and that's super awesome. And I'll be paying, you know, less than a lot of production 8-strings, which blows my mind. Not all of them, but, you know, some of the higher end stuff that still doesn't cater to what I need, I'll be able to grab off the shelf parts and put them in a custom body and have someone do exactly what I want them to do, and still come out ahead. Like, that's a sign of a broken market to me. So with that, hope to see you next go around when we have a little bit more progress on the build itself. But other than that, huge thanks to everyone that gave me some feedback last time and told me to check out some different luthiers and custom shops. But yeah, super stoked to see where this goes, and we will see you hopefully sooner rather than later with the next update, and hopefully by the end of summer with a finished product sitting right here. Thanks for watching. Bye.